using Centrifuge. So for harvesting, we use these 1 liter bucket things, containers, and they're designed for 1 liter, no more, no less. So don't be doing 500 mils and don't be doing more than a liter, or it's going to spill out.
So where's the 1 liter mark on there?
It's just like roughly here.
Where's the 1 liter mark?
I know. I mean, it's. I just supposed to make people know it's
like,
like that. It's right there.
It's like
yeah,
etched
it's
in.
right there.
You just kind of need to, you'll get used to it. So when you're using these, always make sure you have one of the inserts and make sure the O-ring, the red O-ring is there, and then one of these lids. And you're gonna use this balance to balance a set, which will consist of all of these together. So when you're using this, just make sure that this needle is pre-balanced. So right now you can see it's way off. So we just need to adjust it so that it's roughly in the middle before we start. And then you pour your solvents, balance, make sure you're balancing with all of the parts that are gonna go in. And so yeah, those are for the 1 liters. And then for the J17s, same deal, just make sure the O-ring is inside for all of them. And for these, it's okay to use this to balance, but I typically use the other balance over there to get a finer measurement. You don't want them vary more than like 0.1 grams. So yeah, best practice probably to use this scale for these. This one's fine for the 1 liters. Good. That okay.
Oh, where do they go?
Okay, yeah, these hang out back here. Make sure you rinse them all out when you're done.
Oh, also, yeah. When you see how people label these to say which they are, make sure you ethanol it off, because if you don't, it'll just stay stuck there. Like P151A has been there for a long time.
Same with these.
You got ethanol them before you wash them.
And with these, you don't really want to be bleaching them, so just make sure you wash them out well. And these hang out down here. All, yeah, nicely put away. Okay, do the centrifuge.
So you don't bleach, you don't autoclave, you just wash.
Yeah. Yep.
Couple of things with this. On buttons over here, you just flip it up. I'm gonna grab one of the two. So when you're putting in the rotors, it's important that you're putting in correctly. So we have this like schematic to demonstrate, but basically there's 2 like prongs on the spindle, and you want to line up the rotor such that the prongs of the rotor are flush against that.
I think it's part 2.
Yeah.
Maybe a flashlight.
I always check after with a flashlight, but you can see there's 2 prongs in there. Maybe not. Oh my god, this is so heavy.
Yeah, I think we got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you just want to make sure that those, when you stick it in, and you can't really see without taking out your flashlight, so.
What happened to our old flashlight that was here?
I don't know. But yeah, let's just pretend that's. So with all your 4-liter bottles, you want to make sure the caps are really tight. If it's leaking at all in there, that means you didn't balance it well enough, or you didn't tighten it well enough. So make sure everything's balanced and tight. And then, put the pairs across from each other. The rotor, the lid. Put it on. Turn it with your hand first to tighten, and then I usually do one turn and squeeze at the end to make sure the lid's tight. And then to go through the whole thing. Just press the door button to close. And for these, you want to make sure you're typing in the right rotor. So you can always check on the top, it says JLA 9.1. settings for these, whoever used it last, use this rotor. The max we want to use is 5,000 RCF. Whatever time you need it at. And then when you go to start, just press enter, start. So that's it for that. And then when you're done with this one, these are more tend to like leak. So make sure you clean out the insides of the buckets. Otherwise they get really disgusting. Okay, yeah. So that's enough of that. And then this is the rotor that hangs out in the cold room. When you store it, you want to make sure you're storing it upside down. Because anything that's like leaking or whatever, if it's right side up, it's going to gather at the bottom and cause imbalance issues. Because we keep it in the cold, it's not going to dry out. So make sure in the cold room you're storing it like this. Same deal when you put it in, you want to align it correctly. And then for these, we use the J17 tubes. And you just want to make sure it's tight, close the well. And then when you stick them in, you kind of, I guess you'll feel it. You can push it in a little extra. So what I usually do is before I start, I just make sure they're all pushed in. Otherwise, if it's like not pushing all the way, when it goes to start, it can like break inside the rotor. So just make sure they're pushed in all the way to the bottom. And when you're done with the centrifuge, because most of the time we're doing it under cold conditions, it's going to get really icy around here and it'll melt and create a huge puddle at the bottom. So come back in like 10 or 15 minutes, spray ethanol, wipe up everything, and make sure it's dry before you are done. Oh yeah, and if you're using this rotor, they have inserts for like centrifuge tubes. Just make sure you're using these ones that are like especially made for the centrifuge. Don't just use like a normal popping tube, it's gonna break.
Oh, I used this one for that one.
They fit?
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
You shouldn't.
Oh, should I?
No. Use this.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Did I use this one? This one?
I'm just
It doesn't
sure you
fit.
use this one.
It
Yeah.
doesn't fit.
Does it fit?
And when you
Yeah.
balance those, balance it with the yellow
Yeah,
insert
with
because
this.
they're different weights.
These all vary, yeah. So just whenever you're putting stuff in, everything that's going in needs to be balanced. If that makes sense.
When
And
can
yeah,
you
clean up after yourself.
walk away?
Oh, good point. For this floor centrifuge especially, you want to wait for it to get up to speed before you walk away. Because as it's ramping up, if there is some imbalance issue, you can hear it and you need to stop it immediately. So just, it's a little annoying, but just wait the 1 or 2 minutes till it's all the way at whatever speed. And yeah, good point.
Keep the paper towels out, replace it. If the ethanol is out, need more ethanol. Please.
Any other things?
You want to keep the door closed or
You
open?
can just leave it open.
Oh, yeah, be gentle with the hinge.
Oh.
Oh, this
What do
too?
people do?
The door, no, the door,
Oh.
like, it don't just like throw it up
Uh-huh.
because this hinge is rusty and old. So just like be gentle when you let it let it come up slowly.
What happens if the cold room O-ring is off? What do you do?
Oh.
It's off?
Sometimes this would be off, so
just put it
please
back
check
on?
it. Yeah, just grab someone and put it back on. And it shouldn't be popping out like after you tighten the rotor. Like it should be sealed. If it's popping out, don't spin because it will break. And I don't know if we have a backup.
That's
O-ring.
happened before.
Yeah.
It happened.
Don't.
It completely shredded it.
It
And like
was shred.
burnt rubber all over.
Please.
I guess just this is very old, so it doesn't know what rotor you're putting in. So always make sure you're typing in the correct rotor before you start. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and for the big one, if you're confused if the thing is aligned or not, it sits in when it's aligned. If it's not, you can feel it kind of wobble, like it will come to rest. Just let it come to rest and check.
Thank you.